Hello everybody, nice to see you. We firstly wanted to say a big thank you to everybody for the nice comments and feedback that we received on our first video. It's nice to know that so many people are interested in watching these videos due to the current lockdown. So we today we're going to do what we're going to do today. To sharpen an axe. Yeah. So me and Benji are going to disappear for this one, so that you can all concentrate on your sharpening skills. So I'll leave you with Andrew, and we'll say goodbye.
Bye.
And see you next time.
See you next time.
Okay.
See you next time. Oh, let's put my hand in it.
Yeah. Right.
Let's go and disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as Emma mentioned, in this video we're going to do a short tutorial on axe sharpening. So over the next couple of videos we're going to sharpen a knife as well, but we're going to do the axe first. So in this video I'm using the small forest axe, Grantsford Brook small forest axe. For this video I'm going to assume that the axe that you've got is not terribly damaged or chipped, so this one has not got any nasty chunks or chips taken out of it. If your axe has got chips or chunks taken out of it, then it's a bit more of an involved project to get it serviceable. Perhaps that's something for another video. Just in case that is the case, you would need a file like this, a metalworking file, and you take away the cutting edge completely to get rid of the chips, and then you have to file the original bevel back in. This silver bit here is the bevel. It takes quite a long time, so we might do that in a separate video, but for now we're going to assume that the axe that you've got has no chips or chunks taken out of it, and that it's just a bit dull or blunt. So learning how to sharpen an axe is really important, just the same as sharpening any other tool. Once your tools become blunt or dull, they are dangerous because they require more force to get them to work. You also end up with a poor quality finish on the thing that you're trying to make, and it's just a lot harder work to make anything nice. So sharpening is a really important skill to know how to do. So with an axe, there's various things that you can use to sharpen them. A lot of people use these. This is a Grantsford's sharpening puck, and they have a coarse side and a smooth side, or a fine side. And these are okay, they're pretty good. You can use them wet or you can use them dry, and you hold them in this hand and the axe in the other, and you work in a circular motion like this. And these are okay, but I don't think that they're quite fine enough to get a good sharp axe for wood carving. So I use one of these kind of if I haven't got anything else available, but we're going to do a different method today. What we're going to use is Japanese whetstone. You can use an oil stone as well, or any kind of combination stone that has a coarse side on one side and a fine side on the other. This is Japanese water stone, so to soak it in water, just so plonk it in some water and wait for the bubbles to stop coming out, and then you know it's fully soaked and ready to use. So what we're going to do first is colour in the bevel, so this silver bit here, with a marker pen, and that makes it easier to see what you've been doing when you've been sharpening. So when you first start sharpening, it feels like there's a lot of guesswork, and this helps take some of the guesswork out of the process to make it a little less frustrating. So just going to colour in the whole bevel right to the tip. So you can see I've coloured in that there. So what's important with sharpening an axe, or any sharpening tool really, is that you sharpen the whole bevel rather than just the very edge of the cutting bit. So that's it, so that you make sure that you keep the angle of the bevel the same as it was. If you just focus on the tip, you end up with an angle at the end which is too obtuse, which is not very good for wood carving. So using the soaked whetstone, and you start, and you're going to work in a circular motion, and then starting at the back here of the bevel and working towards the tip, you're going to work in a circular motion like this, You start at the back and then gradually work your way forwards towards the tip, towards the very fine bit of the cutting edge. And then you keep going until you've removed all the black from the marker pen. And that way you know you've sharpened the whole face of that bevel. So that's it. Just have a quick look just to check that you've got rid of all the pen. I've still got a little bit there on the very edge, so I'm going to do a little bit more. So that's that on that side. Then you're going to turn it over and do exactly the same thing on the other side. So colour in that bevel again. And again using the coarse side. Just working this nice smooth circular motion. Gradually working towards the cutting edge. Till all your marker pen has gone. Like that. Great. We're now going to do the same again, but with the fine side of the stone. So we'll colour it in again. Once you've been doing this for a little while, you don't have to colour the edge in. You get used to how it looks and how it feels, but this is a great thing to give you a bit of help when you're starting out. So same again, just hold the axe under your arm like this and use the fine side of the stone, working from the back of the bevel down towards the cutting edge. So these water stones are really good because you can hold them at the back, which keeps your fingers well away from the cutting edge. That's that on that side. And then turn it over. And do exactly the same thing again on that side. So circular motion with the fine side, gradually working towards the tip again. So if your axe is really blunt, it might take quite a long time to do this. This axe wasn't particularly blunt to start off with. That's it. We're there. So we'll just wipe that clean just to make sure and get all the water off and make sure that we've actually removed all the black. And we have. And then when you're finished, you should be able to look down the cutting edge, right down the cutting edge, and you shouldn't be able to see any light reflected back, so you shouldn't be able to see any flat spots along the edge. If you've got any flat spots or any light reflecting back, then you need to keep going, just working away at that face until all those flat spots are gone. So that's the first step. The next step is really important. We're going to use a strop. So this is a leather strop. This is just a piece of leather that's been glued onto a piece of wood and then rubbed with some polishing compound. You just rub this on like this. This polishing compound is just a really fine abrasive, You can use all sorts of different stuff. You could use metal polish, you could even use whitening toothpaste, which I've used before because it has a very fine abrasive in it. If you don't have any of this, just leather works on its own. And if you don't want to use leather, you can use cardboard instead, glued to a piece of wood with compound rubbed on it. And you can even just use a smooth piece of wood on its own. It doesn't work as well, but it still does the job. And this makes the edge, the cutting edge, a bit more durable, and it polishes the edge as well to give a really, really sharp edge. This makes a massive difference. So the way that you use this, you can use this in two ways. You can put it on your bench or your table, and you drag the axe away like this, and you do it in alternate strokes. Do quite a lot, about 50 strokes alternately. Again, you have to cover the whole face of the bevel. Or you can hold the axe and the strop in, hold your axe in this hand and the strop in the other, and go like this. Push away from the cutting edge. And you're covering the whole face. And when you do this, you want to make sure that you do an even number of strokes on each side. So again, maybe 50 in total, so 25 on one side and 25 on the other. This is really polishing up the edge. You'll see a massive difference if you do this. And then I'd just like to alternate a couple of strokes at the end. And that's it. So that now is really sharp. So looking down there, I can't see any flat spots. A good way to test whether it's sharp is to just use a piece of paper, a bit of A4 paper, and give it a slice with the axe, and it should just slice straight through. Whoops, it's not very good because the paper's wet because it's been outside. But yeah, it should just slice straight through like that. So if you can't do that with your axe, then it's probably not sharp enough for wood carving. You also want to test it on a piece of wood as well, just to make sure that it carves wood nicely or cuts wood nicely. And you can just slice away a couple of bits, and you're looking to be able to slice with your axe as easily as if it was your knife. And you can check the finish on the wood, and you're looking for a nice smooth finish with the axe. So that's it. That's kind of a really basic introduction to axe sharpening using some simple tools. If you've got any questions on that, then just let me know. And if you're interested in doing a proper axe restoration video, so taking a really blunt and damaged axe and turning it into something useful, then we can do a separate video on that as well. So I hope that was helpful. In the next video we're going to do knife sharpening. So yeah, if you have any questions, just let us know, and we'll see you next time. Cheers!